It was pushing it a smidge, considering how many people were taking pictures of like the sky and different airplanes and posting them, and
We
like,
can't
hey,
really say
Gundo's
anything
here.
about that. Can't really say anything about that because
We
old
shared it
man,
too.
old man Jeff Austin sent us over some pictures and a video of Gundo literally flying in because he lives on the flight path. So we couldn't resist, even though we were making fun of people. Anyways, we have got a massive episode tonight. We got a special guest. We'll get that in a minute. Welcome to the Snobby Boys. Wrong one. All right, everybody. Welcome to the Snobby. God bless it. There's so many buttons. Welcome to the Snobby Boy Podcast. I'm your host, Colby. That's my homeboy, Joe, over there. Welcome to the show. Before we go too far, make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bells for all of our content notifications. We have Mulv here in the building. He is going to help end our Summer of Illustrious Guests. Before we bring him on, we'll talk a little bit about some city news, mostly just about the Ipswich match, obviously the Gundo arrival, and Kyogo to replace Alvarez, maybe.
Question mark.
And then, of course, we're just going to banter around with Mulv because that's what they do the best. So, without further ado, let me introduce to you Mulv from the Noisy Neighbors.
Oh, thank you, fellas.
Welcome, sir.
Absolutely.
Welcome,
Thank
sir.
you very much.
Yes, and it's been a long time coming, man.
Yeah, so
I
happy to
think-
be here. 250 episodes. That is a proper milestone.
Well, that's a bit skewed. And I'll explain to everybody what the 250 is. So this is our second season. This is our 50th episode. So once it gets to that weird mark, then we're just gonna, flip it around probably again. I don't know, but yes, thank you, dude. In all honesty, we probably have done maybe over 100 episodes together. Yeah. So I mean, it tracks.
How many episodes have you done that never made it to air because of some sort of glitch or some recording issue? Yeah, I know.
In the days of pre-recorded, yes, absolutely, had to throw out entire episodes or you just like 10-minute sections of stuff, and you're like, man, what?
Nobody hit record.
Whoops.
So Mulv, how you been, man? So we got to see you at Columbus, which finally
was great.
Last tour we didn't get a chance to see you because you stayed in your home state. We booked it up to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Missed you up there because let me tell you, Chris and Liz held it down with the chance.
Those
held
two
it down.
Incredible.
Absolutely.
I had the pleasure of taking scooters down. What's it called? High Street in Columbus.
Oh my god!
Probably like a 5-mile scooter ride with Liz and Chris down High Street after the match. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, lucky to be alive. To be fair, but no, those two are brilliant.
They are. They're so much fun. I love what they do for the community. So much fun. Yeah, man. So we got to see each other in Columbus finally. That was really awesome.
I have to say, the bear hug that you guys had at pre-training was wonderful.
Wait, say it again. I missed that, Joe. Sorry.
The big old hug.
Yeah. That was great.
The big bear hug that y'all shared at training was.
Did I get lifted off the ground?
I'm pretty sure I slung you around like a child.
That was awesome to watch.
Yeah, man. It was perfect moment. I had, just walked up the steps and then boom, Nigel was right there. And I was like, oh my God, because I actually had seen him in Chapel Hill at a Mexican restaurant and I didn't really realize it was him until he had come over to the table, and I was like, oh, holy shit. So I didn't get a picture with him because the food come out, and I was like, dude, we gotta find him while we're here because I mean I know he's here. So walk up the step, there he is, and then we're talking, and all of a sudden there you are, and I'm like, what the hell?
Whole gang turned up.
Exactly.
Whole gang was there. Oh man, there was quite a few podcasts too that were in Columbus. So
Yeah, City
really,
Ramble.
really awesome. City Ramble was there. Kipax was there. It was really cool to see all the different content that all of us got from that weekend. So, but yeah, so let's get into the season real quick. How are you feeling so far about it, Mulv?
Mate, the Gundo signing has given me a massive boost. I'll be honest. Just because of we know his mentality. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's you can tell he's still hungry. I don't know if you watched the interviews and all that, but adding another player who stepped away for a year, realized what he was missing, and then came back, having won everything, by the way. You know what I mean? Didn't need to come back, but wanted it. Do you know what I mean? Immediately called Pep, get me back there. I miss it. I want to win more trophies. So that's given me a massive boost. So whereas I felt relatively optimistic about winning the league again, doing 5 in a row, I definitely think we could do it, but wasn't 100% sure. Now I wouldn't say I'm 100% sure, but I'm more confident than I was before. I'll say that. I just feel like the squad is complete.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's 100%. I feel like that echoes across the whole land with the Gundo signing. We were severely missing a centerpiece, especially somebody to have that real kind of backup role behind Rodri. He doesn't necessarily fill the role, but he knows how to. You know what I mean? And he understands the system. He understands what he's getting himself into. He knows that when he comes in, he's going to be more of a rotational person rather than being a feature. And he's cool with that. And that's what's awesome about it.
Yeah, I feel like with the emergence of Kovacic,
that too.
We went from having a big Rodri backup problem to having 2 options within a few weeks. Yeah. So, what do you think, Joe? You with me? We've got good cover now, or are you still looking for somebody else?
I love that Gundo is so flexible. He can play an 8, he can play a 6, he can play the 10 if need be. And with him there now, we have 2 guys that we could even play as a double pivot and have him and Kovacic back there if Kova proves that he's shown the past 2 games, I think, he's more than capable of holding down that role by himself. But now having Gundo in there, it just creates more options for Pep to play with when it comes to formations and tactically how we line up. So as soon as we saw the news that he was coming back and he was interested, it's I got goosebumps, and I was right there with you. I was like, man, I feel so much better about the season now, on the pitch, but especially in the dressing room, off the field. We didn't have a problem with that last year with the boys, but adding him back into the mix is just going to make everybody feel so much better. When you feel good, you play good, and exactly. I think he's going to bring that in bunches for our club, and I feel so much better. I was pretty optimistic that we were going to handle our business in the Premier League. Again, having him here, I think, makes me feel more confident in we might get a few more trophies, and not just
really third
one.
Hand.
Yeah, because last year we won one, which is great. Obviously, it was won the Premier League for the 4th time in a row. Our fan base has gotten kind of accustomed to hoisting more than one trophy, though, in a season. Right. And I think Gundo's presence will absolutely help with that. Because, like Colby said, he's not somebody we need to come in and play 60 matches and play 85, 90 minutes every single time. He and Kev together can kind of take turns, playing extended minutes as needed and then give each other a blow. And when Haaland was at his peak, he had Gundo and Kevin distributing the ball. I think Gundo understands the way Haaland likes to receive a ball from the middle, and I think that's going to help get him back to his absolute best too. So I'm excited, man.
It's reunited one of the best midfields in football history for me.
Oh yeah.
I mean that.
And now we can sing the song again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, Rodri, Gundo, KDB is elite, like top
Yeah.
3 at least midfields
Yeah.
of all time, up there with the Busquets, Xavi, and Iniesta thing at Barcelona. And like you mentioned, Joe, fingers crossed Rodri stays fit, right? Really, in Rodri's role, you're really only looking at maybe 10, 15 games max that somebody would need to fill in there for him. 2 of which we've already won. Right?
Exactly.
We've already won
Yep,
2
right.
games without Rodri. So
Yep.
you're already 2 into a 10 to 15 stretch.
Yeah.
Sorry, prison talk.
I knew what you meant.
So anyway, no, I'm with both of you guys. I feel really good about the size of the squad. I'm really interested to talk about. You mentioned we might talk about strikers later because I have a proper opinion on this. So
that's what we like. That's what we like. All right, well let's get to this because we know we got a short time with you tonight. You have some prior commitments, so let's make this happen. Let's first get into the starting 11. Let me get Joe's take on it first, and then Mulv, let me get yours. Here's the starting lineup. We had Holland, Doku, Savio. Wow, that was quick. Bernardo, Kevin, Kova, Yasko, Diaz, Kanji, Rico, Ederson in the back. What did you think about that lineup, Joe?
I thought that was an extremely strong lineup. I love the combination of Savio and Doku out wide on the wings. They uh, just terrorize outside backs and make it so difficult on them. So I love that. Bernie inside, I am such a big fan of, especially at the beginning of a game because the press pretty much the whole match was brilliant, and he was a big part of that. So I love seeing that midfield 3 of Kova, KDB, and Bernie, and about as strong of a back line as we got right now. I think Rico is absolutely killing it. And I figured he was going to get. I figured the back line wasn't going to be changed much. So I think the 11 was strong. I thought I love that he gave the wingers another opportunity, the young guys, to play with Holland and start getting that chemistry down. Um, so I was very happy with the 11 that I saw yesterday morning. How about you, Mulv?
yeah, absolutely. Rico Lewis deserved to keep his place, 100%. Yeah, from the Chelsea game, he was arguably man of the match in that. So absolutely no reason to drop him. And definitely earned it. We did get the news before the match that Phil Foden was going to missed the squad completely. Turns out he was ill. So better than an injury. So that's good news. So yeah, but I still felt it was strong enough, even without Phil, to because you're talking about Ipswich, a promoted side, who have a habit of playing sort of a stubborn, relatively open style, right? A lot of newly promoted teams come up and they just low block you and try to catch you on the counter.
Yep.
But Ipswich manager is quite progressive, so it was always going to be a pretty open game. So I looked at the 11 and I thought, yeah, same as last week, which was a good performance. And we're at home, incredible record at home.
Yep.
Agree with Joe about the wingers, so exciting. You figure those wingers at home with Haaland in the middle is going to be just a nightmare for anybody. So, no, really happy with the 11, mate.
Yeah, same with me. Having Savio come in so early, I think is very new for a lot of people. Where you see somebody who hasn't really played Premier League ball, and now he's getting his first minutes right off the bat, right at the beginning of the season. I mean, we know what he was capable of at Girona, and obviously Oscar Bob, him going out has laid the way for him to get these minutes. But I was kind of like, I was a little scared seeing him on because, I mean, yes, he looked really good in that first match, but I was like, is that going to transpire into the next and the next and the next and the next? You know, because anybody can have an up or down day. But on the whole, yeah, I'm super excited for all the forwards that we have, the way they work together, the service that Holland will finally get. Savio's ball in is mint. It's one of the better ones that I've seen in a while. He really does emulate Riyad Mahrez in so many ways. And then also with Rico, I don't think any of us were really expecting Kyle Walker back, but the progress of Rico since preseason even has been astronomical. I mean, he's turned into a man. He's really putting it on people, and I'm loving what I'm seeing there. As far as the midfield goes, for sure. I mean, you can't ask for a better veteran midfield than that. You really can't. And then, of course, not having Phil come in for now 2 weeks, it's a little disheartening. You don't really know what's going on there, but all in the same, like, dude needs the rest. England went the distance almost, so it was just like, I get it. And the same thing with Rodri. He's obviously not fit at all. I think maybe he hit the buffet table a couple times.
Understandably so, after the long season that dude had. So, like, take your time, man. Honestly, like, we don't need you rushing back.
Right. So right off the bat, non-call on Holland, which then transpired into a cheap goal from Ipswich. I thought it was cheap, at least. we could have done a lot more there. I think everybody can agree with that. But all the same, it was kind of tough to go in. And it was just kind of like the pill to swallow. What do you think, Mulv?
I think more than anything, I thought it was a really good goal by Ipswich. I'll be honest. Sure. It was one of those moments that will happen to us where we have so many players going forward. One of them carrying the ball is a defender. In this case, I think it was Gvardiol. And if that ball gets turned over, we're all on our front foot, right? So behind us is in trouble. And it's a risk that we take. It's a risk that we take in most games. And I think it was a risk it was a calculated risk against Ipswich, who might get one goal like that against us, but probably not more than that, right? And the hope is that you can just outscore them on the day at home, right? So if I think about it back in my mind, Vardio goes forward, it's turned over because he and KDB try something a little bit dangerous, and then it's back the other way. Rico is tracking the guy that finally scores. Rico's tracking him the whole way. If you watch Rico's final moment, he stops to keep the other option, who was on the right wing, offside. So when he stops, the pass is so good from, I don't know the player's name, but the pass goes in behind, which was the harder of the two passes. The one outside was probably the more logical pass, which Rico was anticipating. So Rico kind of holds his ground for a minute to hold the other guy offside. The ball is perfect in behind him. Rico's now out of it, and the guy slots it home. I mean, I don't know. We discussed at the pub, like, is Edison at fault here or not? And we decided not really.
I mean, he was put in a 1v1 situation there. Basically. Yeah. I think Akanji could even catch some of the blame there. Ruben was a little bit out of place. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, Rico was tracking him all the way back. So I
thought it was more of a good goal than it was looking for somebody to blame, really. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, and we didn't really put a lot of pressure on the through ball. So he had time to pick that pass out and slot it through, I don't think you blame Eddie. I think you look at it was a team boo-boo, and it was early in the game, and I don't think we were quite into our stride. And thankfully, the next 8 minutes was what it was.
Fireworks.
We turned that shit around real quick. So
the reaction was incredible.
Yeah, exactly.
It really, yeah. So Savio gets a toe stomp, which leads to the PK. Holland takes it, buries it. This is the first part of the magic trick. I believe they call that, what's it called? The pledge. This is the pledge.
Oh.
Yeah, this is the pledge. And then, Rico right after that, and Kev, crossbar. That sucked so bad that now we should be up 5-1. shit. Where
Yeah,
are we at now?
the double crossbar hit within a minute of each other was. It was like, okay, good. Glad we're up 3-1 at this point. But
Right.
like, man, like, how do we both hit the cross? And I think it might have been Rico. Man, like, goal was wide open on that one, and he tried to absolutely murder the ball instead of just doing what Kev did earlier.
He tried to lift
and
it
just
a bit, didn't he?
Yeah. Kev just had an open goal, and he just was like, let me just slot this home real quick. Rico went the other route and tried to pretty much put his laces through the ball. So unfortunate there.
Here was a name that I kept tripping over all match, and I was really excited for you to be here because you could kind of fulfill this void that I had after it. Like, I didn't hear it anymore. Can you say Smodich for me?
No. Can you spell it?
No, honestly, I can't. This was my English phonetics right here, right? Smodith.
Dith. Smodith. No chance. That's a Lord of the Rings character that I'm not familiar with. That's that's a Hobbit or something.
Right. They kept saying his name, and it just, I mean, you get I don't forget who our commentator is over here. But you get his accent. Yes. Dude, you get his accent with Smodich, and I was like, what is a Smodich? Are we supposed to have like
Lord of the Rings character is the
right? Are there supposed to be priests here?
For sure.
What is a Smodich? Oh man! All right, so right after that, De Bruyne hits his 150th goal in blue. That was beautiful. That was so beautiful.
Yeah, the Savinho presses the keeper, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, that's maybe where the Mahrez comparisons end.
Yeah,
probably.
Mahrez wasn't quite known for his, Gabriel Jesus-esque, closing, or Julian Alvarez-esque closing down of the keeper. Yeah.
No.
That was not his strong suit, but
no. How did you feel getting rid of him, man? Like, what did that kind of pull something out of you?
Yeah, I mean, I love it like a source merchant. You know what I mean? Like on the wing, somebody with that kind of technique, the way he would bring the ball out of the air, just so effortlessly, and it would, in stride, unbelievable player, mate. I swear he's actually Brazilian because
he has to be.
Yeah, I mean,
it
really warms my heart though because he did divide opinion a little bit in the fan base. To see somebody like Savinho, a really up and coming kid, just like idolize him and like try to be like him, because I think it proves to that's that bit of the fan base that didn't really value Mahrez, that Mahrez has the streets. I mean, he literally, we've got a Brazilian winger who wants to be Riyad Mahrez. I mean, that, say no more.
Algerian.
I mean, yeah. So, no, mate. Yeah, still a big fan. He's clearly still a big fan of the club and, wishes us well, which isn't true of everybody. So, yeah. No, huge Riyad Mahrez fan and always will be.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, Holland is definitely... we've already assessed that he's got a hat trick coming. We have the turn, or excuse me, what is it again? I always get the acts mixed up. It's the it's right here in my notes. I just gotta find it.
Is this another magic trick reference?
Yep, it's a magic trick reference. Yep. Oh, so it's the pledge, the turn. Okay. At this point, he's having all the fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's honestly, and I say that because if you're looking back at last season, what most would consider is a lull season, right? Lull is still scoring, how many goals?
I don't know.
26 in the league.
26 league goals. Yeah, I mean, that's somebody's average a year for so many years. That's Harry Kane, like 6, 7, 8 years ago. But no,
ridiculous.
Yeah, he's having fun again, and I think that matters, especially with this squad. We have so many names, and it's kind of hard to get mixed, especially with the way the news and the journos come after us. Seeing him have fun again is making me have fun again. There's a bit of complacency that comes with all this winning. You know what I mean? And seeing him smiling again and really like I hate to say this because it sounds like I'm talking about a pregnant woman, but he was literally glowing.
You're glowing.
You're glowing.
No, maybe now's time for just a smidgen of tactics talk, because I think he's glowing because he's got Kevin De Bruyne back fit, right? Mm-hmm. And do you see where Kevin played that ball from? I found it very interesting because if you've read some of the tactics nerds' response to this game, they'll tell you that the 8s appearing on the wings but withdrawn a bit, like on the halfway line at the wing, is a new wrinkle from Pep, in that we tried to play them very centrally last season, and other teams were just sort of clogging up the middle and making us go wide, where we had Grealish and Bernardo, right? Not the flashiest, not the best at getting behind defenses like Savinho, Doku do, right? So the wrinkle is, well, what if I just pull my 8s wide in the build-up, right? And start giving options there. So not only does like, let's say De Bruyne, who was on the left, make Doku more dangerous because they're pretty close to each other, you can just play him in. But he can also see that ball over the top to Haaland, which I think as a fan base on our show, complained about it many times. Why aren't we going over the top, right? To Haaland. He's Erling Haaland, for crying out loud.
Right.
And you saw...
He's only 6'4".
Yeah. You saw that was a Dortmund-esque finish, like a Dortmund-esque goal, like a Dortmund-era goal. You know what I mean? And I think we're going to see more of that, fellas. So De Bruyne out there, into Haaland, around the keeper goal. That's what we want. Absolutely.
For sure.
So, yeah.
Let me get your take on this, because we talked about it last week. What is your take on James McAtee and potentially being the successor to Kev?
Yeah, that's great. So, McAtee was sort of doing that same thing I just described in preseason, and then Kevin came back. He's now obviously doing it. So James McAtee, if you look at him before he went out on loan, he was absolutely considered in the same bracket as like Cole Palmer. Maybe not quite Phil Foden's bracket. He's in a league of his own.
Different
but absolutely a one for the future that could make it at City. I think everybody at the club thought of him in that way. Now that he's back and I've seen him in preseason, and I think about like what we need, I think we need a player like McAtee for the future more than we do, say, a player like Matty Nunes, right? Only in that a lot of teams like to play deep against us, and McAtee's really good in the small spaces. Pep keeps saying that, just like Oscar Bob is. So I can see a future for James McAtee at City. He might have to bide his time. All of his comments in that regard are positive, in that, okay, he's done his loan spell, and now he was saying about, I just need to take my chance when it comes, take the experience of playing with these players while I can, because you're looking at the ages of some of the players in those 8s, your Bernardos, your KDBs, and there's definitely a revolution and evolution needed in the next couple of years. So, I absolutely think James McAtee could save us a ton of money in that role in the future.
Yeah. The money part, that's smart thinking, because there's been tons of talk, and honestly, I would love to see him come, but all at the same, like, I know what his plan is at Bayern, and they're going to want to keep him around, but that's Jamal Musiala. Like, I would love to, and you were talking about keeping the ball tight to you. I mean, he's one of the best players that does it right now.
He's the dream.
He really is.
He's the dream, absolutely. But so this summer, we were linked with players like Danny Olmo. And at one point, I would have said, bring Danny Olmo in. He'd be a good sort of bridge to a Musiala. Somebody who maybe is not at the profile of a KDB or a Foden, who would be happy to sort of play second or third fiddle until KDB and Bernardo move on. But then I thought about it, and I saw James McAtee in preseason. I was like, well, just give that role to McAtee. You know, instead of paying 40, 50 million for Danny Olmo, give that role to McAtee. See if it's going to be a potential solution for the future, and then go for Musiala. You know, if McAtee's not the answer. So I think he buys us time and saves us money.
Yeah, and I think it's important that the academy guys continue to see a route to the first team, at least with backup roles at first, and seeing guys like Phil and Bob and Rico and now McAtee getting opportunities to get run with the first team, I think is really important, because 5-6 years ago, before Pep, there really wasn't a whole lot of pathways for our academy guys to come up, because we would just go out and buy new guys to come in. And now they're seeing the product of how good our academy is, because guys are going out on loans. They're constantly getting bought up by other clubs at this point. So I do think it's important that we are showing our elite level academy players that there is a pathway to play time here, and not just having to go to the Bundesliga or La Liga to cut their teeth for a bit.
There is a new dynamic now, though, Joe, which is you could Cole Palmer is another dynamic, right? You could go somewhere else and absolutely tear it up. So, we've created a little bit of a monster in Cole Palmer. Like people like a James McAtee, when they're weighing up, do I stay, do I go? They're going, well, if I stay, I could be the next Phil Foden. If I go, I could be the next Cole Palmer. I could win here, I could win there. You know what I mean? Like it's another layer to it, for definite new wrinkle in our our whole academy discussion.
Your homie's in here tonight.
Oh, I can't really see it very well. What's he saying? Give me Jimmy Mac.
Jimmy Mac, the 21, and see what happens.
Well, see, that's why Gundogan's class. You know, he held off the 21 so that McAtee could have it. So
he also made a Craig Bellamy reference. Maybe we need a Craig Bellamy regen.
He's on a mad one.
Oh man. So that really brings us into the half. With that, I'm going to throw up our little intermission, and then we'll finish off the second half and whatever banter we can before we let Mulv out of our hands. But we will be right back. Well, that ended quickly.
I'm having that.
Abrupt ending.
Highlight reel.
All right. So we walk into the second half. Mateo takes a knock pretty easy.
Early on, too.
Yeah.
Like a muscle thing, right?
Yeah, it didn't look very good. Luckily, we had Stonesy to come in and back him up. We were talking earlier about that pivot role, and that Gundo fills up that role. Also, Rico fills up that role. Also, John Stones fills that role. Also, Mateus Nunes can fill that role a little bit. I know that that's in part of Pep's plan, but seeing Stonesy get some work was really nice, because he was not so well during Euros. What do you think is our future with Stones, Mulv?
Sorry, Colby, did you say he wasn't good at the Euros?
No, he was. Wasn't he out for the end of the Euros?
No, he was. As I remember it, mate, it was one of John Stone's longest consecutive match appearance. Like, he was like, he stayed fit. He stayed fit.
I stand corrected. I stand corrected.
It was. I was honestly a little bit disappointed. Okay, don't take this the wrong way. let me put it this way. I was excited for John Stones to come back and play immediately because he had been so good at the Euros and he was fit and he was playing like consecutive games, which is sort of his only Achilles heel, right? Is that he plays well, he's out for a bit, comes back, takes him a couple games to warm up, plays well, then he's out. So I was looking for John Stones to have a rip-roaring start to the season, but you know, he got some time off, and now he's working his way back in. But your question was about his long-term future.
Yeah, what is this long-term with us at City?
I have to be really careful because I noticed that Jake Levitz is in the chat.
Yes, he is.
the number one John Stones fan in the world. So
This is king.
One of my, I mean, he's an icon, an absolute icon. The City fans absolutely adore this guy. He's that combination of being not only like a hero because he's brilliant, but also a cult hero. You know how cult heroes are like cult heroes because they might be a bit shit. You know what I mean?
There's that small tarnish on them, but it makes it appealing.
That's when they get put in the cult hero category. You know, they have like a fatal flaw, like Balotelli, right? Has like, you know, a fatal flaw being he's a bit, you know, but he's a cult hero because he's Mario Balotelli. He's, I mean, just the aura, the vibes are off the charts. John Stones, I think, has both. He's both arguably the best centre-back in England and arguably the most loved City player at the moment. He seems to manage to get his name inserted into every song. Mm-hmm. And if it's not already in the song, it gets added later. So, but his long-term future is... I don't... How old is he?
I got you.
Joe's on it.
Early.
Look at Joe's on it.
I want to say he's like 30. Yeah.
He just turned 30. So
just turned 30. I mean, centre backs play, you know, to 34, 35 at least. Yeah, I keep him around myself. If you're asking me what I would do, he's top. As long as you've got cover for him, which I think we'll always have. I think you've got that Callum Doyle guy, that we saw in the summer, who's sort of waiting in the wings, you know, to come in.
He went off to Hull. Is that he got to Hull, or no? He went off to Norwich.
Yeah, apparently played a blinder yesterday. Was amazing yesterday. So, as long as you've got sort of in the wings youngsters ready to come through, I think you keep John Stones, you know, for a couple more seasons at least. Because he's quality. He's absolute quality, and you do need a certain number of English players in your side by the rules. So yeah, he's got value there.
I thought he was brilliant when he came in for Kovacic in that midfield role. I love him playing in that spot. I just keep flashing back to his sublime performance in the Champions League final, playing in that midfield role. It was absolutely a phenomenal performance by him. I thought that was some of the best football we've seen when we had him stepping into the midfield next to Rodri and having that freedom to, in possession, he's stepping into the midfield. When we're in defense, he drops back in next to Ruben. So I'm with Jake. I am 100% a John Stones supporter and love me some Johnny Stones. So because he's just so versatile. He provides so many options. He can play right back, he can play center back, he can play center mid. He's just somebody that we're going to need, just because we love the way Pep likes to play. You have to be able to kind of cover multiple positions, and he provides that. When you have somebody who can do that, it covers backup roles and starting positions of multiple areas. It's so necessary to have.
Yeah, 100%.
And I know for sure he brings in the lady fan base of City, because the ladies love them some Johnny Stones just as much as us lads do too.
It's that leg tattoo. They want to know what it all looks like.
LL John Stones.
Oh my God, yes. Oh, So the big story, I think, for all of us, for most of us that love this team, really know, Rico. Let's talk about Rico. Rico's had a goddamn great start to this season. He has matured. He's not quite as tall as Kyle Walker, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Kyle's gonna have a hard time getting back in the squad right now because Rico's playing so well and getting into advanced positions and covering at right back too. Oof. Well, we got Mo.
He's getting his Celsius in. Hey, listen, George Janko drinks those things, right? I heard they have what's that shit that's in cherries? What's
Crack?
that thing that hit? Cyanide. There it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Be
Well,
careful.
if I keel over, you'll know why.
Well, I don't really want to fly to Dallas because arsenic or whatever.
It's necessary, man. He's got plans after this.
High in the sky, apparently. I was just fucking. So yeah, Rico has been everything we possibly could have dreamed of. I mean, Joe, what do you think? What do you think it's going to take to get Rico knocked out of this starting role and replaced with Kyle?
Right now, with no midweek matches to look for soon, I think Rico is locking down that position for right now, and it's going to take a knock from him or an increased run of games for Kyle to come in and take him because he's literally all over the pitch. He's sometimes the highest guy forward. His energy is infectious, and he's so damn smart for being a 19-year-old man. I have been so impressed with him the last two matches, and I don't think you can't drop him right now. He's somebody who's performing so well, and if you say, "Hey, Kyle's back, we're gonna give him that role back," the players aren't gonna get down with that kind of thing because they want to see the person who performs get those minutes. They know who's doing well, they know who deserves the time, and right now Rico 100% deserves that time at that right back spot.
Mulv.
Yeah, the difference in our right side with Savino and Lewis behind him is night and day from last season. If you look at how Rico gets up and down and the danger that he provides as an option when we're around the box. You know, when we do that thing where we're comfortably in possession, we're just kind of moving it from side to side, trying to find the final ball. Rico is so influential in those places where Kyle, unfortunately, isn't as much.
No.
Like I said, the link up with Savino so far has been brilliant. It was already good with Oscar Bob. And will be again when Oscar returns. He's getting into positions that Kyle really couldn't dream of in terms of, he scored in the first game. He banged it off the post in the second game. First goal was ruled out, obviously, because a little foul or something like that. I'm sure we were robbed.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Nah, mate, he's arguably one match man of the match in the first two games. He's everywhere. Like Joe said, the intelligence is off the charts. He's quick. His center of gravity is ridiculous. He draws fouls really well. Mate, I don't know what was said in that dinner that Pep and Kyle Walker had at the start of last season.
Yeah.
But whatever it was, if it kept Rico out of the side, which Rico didn't get much minutes last season.
No, he didn't. Very few.
Mate, yeah. Let's not have them two going to dinner again because, again, I would say I would love to see it like this, guys. I would love to see it transpire like this. Rico gets the minutes against the sides, mid-table and below. Kyle comes in and plays against the sides where, it's more even. Your Liverpools, Arsenals, the biggest games, save those for Kyle Walker. The experience is good. If we're playing a little bit more cautiously against those sides, Kyle will be perfect for those. But against the sides, like in Ipswich, at home, where we're going to have big possession numbers. Rico gives you that extra something in the attack that's gonna unlock other teams if they decide to go play deep against us. So, yeah, let's see a lot more minutes out of Rico, especially in the games where we're going to dominate, because he'll just help us. He'll help us.
And there'll be times where we still need Kyle, like Champions League, if we're going up against Vinny and Rodrigo on the wings and the speed of Mbappe. We're going to need his pace is still off the charts. So there's going to be moments where we're still going to need Kyle back there. But definitely agree with you, Mulv. As much time as we can get Rico now, let's do that.
I see a lot of Rico's form coming from the discipline and strength training that he does with his dad through MMA. I don't know that I would want to fight him in a back alley. I'll tell you that. He can. I mean, his kicks are alone, but I mean, the fact that his ability to box out is one of the things that I've noticed the best about him, especially when he gets slammed down in the corner. He can fight his way out, and that's very hard for somebody who's getting towered by a 6 foot to 6'5" guy shoving you up in the corner. And the fact that he can get out, he can move the ball, and he can, like you said, low center of gravity. I think I attribute all of that to his MMA training. I don't know if you was it the Netflix series. They showed a bit of that.
Yep.
Wow. Didn't know that, but no, that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So now we enter the 71st minute. We bring back Mr. Whippy. Mr. Ilkay Gundogan.
I got goosebumps watching that. I don't know.
Oh my God, dude.
Absolutely brilliant.
Seeing him stretch, seeing him on the sidelines, doing his run-throughs, dude. Yeah, my nipples were hard the whole time. Whole time.
Yeah, same. When we look back at this period in this club's history, it's gonna have Ilkay Gundogan's footprints all over it. I mean, we probably don't realize it at the moment. Yeah, just so many huge moments. That Aston Villa comeback in the last game of the season, one of my favorite memories in my life. Luckily, have it on video, so can always go back to it. Yeah, I mean the guy. I mean our treble-winning captain. I mean, the guy's another icon. To see him warming up and coming on, I was glowing. So.
Dude. What better thing could you be doing than glowing? Yeah, dude. It was a very epic moment, I think, for everybody. I think it was very hard watching him walk away to Barca, wanting another opportunity. And I think that this is one of the very few times that this actually happens, where you go back to your ex and it works out and everybody's happy. This will also be the first time I think it doesn't blow up in somebody's face, bringing him back.
He can't possibly ruin the legacy. I mean,
no.
What would he have to do?
I mean, he has a field named after him for the EDS, so that's great. I mean, like he's cemented into this club. Future's looking bright, guys. We don't have to worry about a midfield now. We have somebody who can. He can call the shots if needed, and that brings us to captaincy talk. I mean, does he get thrown into the pool now? Does he go right to the top of the list? I mean, he donned it before he left.
That's very interesting. Do you get to? It's sort of the prodigal son returns, right? Do you get
right?
To
exactly.
Do you get to just walk back into the leadership group or not? If there's one player who could do it, it'd be him.
Exactly.
Just one of the nicest, smartest, most genuine guys I've ever seen at a club. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Because there's currently 5. They usually keep 5 in that leadership group, so somebody would have to drop out at this point to throw him back in. If you're keeping it at 5, you just make it a 6. I don't see a problem there one bit. Let's keep everybody happy. Let's make it 6. Throw him in the mix, and see what happens.
Let them pick. They always pick amongst themselves, right? And it's always seemed to work out. So, as much as I have my issues with, one of them in particular, and his leadership vibes.
What he leads with, you mean?
Yeah. You know, it worked. It worked. They won the Premier League again, and yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna fast track this now. You got 10 minutes left before it's date time, so I want to make sure that we get in here. The prestige happens in 87th minute. Holland buries the hat trick. His 10th hat trick in blue. It was awesome. I think we all know that. I'm going
Outside
on my Donald.
box.
I'm
Yeah.
going on my Donald Trump talk now, just so we can get through this. Macca and Nunez come on for Holland and Kev. 5+ minutes. End match. So as it stands right now, Joe, what's the table?
What's the table looking like?
We're top on goal difference.
Are we on top on goal difference? I don't remember who.
Brighton is in 2.
Okay.
Arsenal is in 3rd. Liverpool's in 4th. All
right.
us
So
are
the
at
table
6
hasn't
points.
changed.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, only three teams with winning records right now after 2 weeks, and messy 4 teams. And
4 teams with perfect records.
Yeah, and win it. Well,
Okay.
yeah,
winning records, perfect
Gotcha.
records. I think those 3. Only 2 weeks in, obviously, it's a messy table. When we see Chelsea all the way down at the bottom, Shit United is right there hanging out with them as well.
That was funny, wasn't it? Unlucky lads. No, just can I spend 1 minute on them? Because
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, because I think a lot of them thought, you know, they would take it. They were going to go up another level. You know, they won the FA Cup final. They won the first game. There's a lot of good feeling around Ten Hag staying and building on his start there. But it's just a reminder that they have not leveled up at all. No. Like I say this, beating Brighton, that was away, I believe, would have been a marker like, okay, we're serious. We're not losing these games to teams like Brighton anymore. Like we're gonna win these games on the road. We're gonna be in the mix. But it's just a reminder that they're not. I don't think they're gonna level up at all. It's gonna be one step forward, one step back, and they're gonna stay where they are. So long may that continue.
Absolutely.
Long may it stay that way. Just a little bit of talk before we go off of here. I don't know if you guys have seen. Unless you want to get on the Kyogo talk real quick, Mulv, we can do that.
Okay,
yeah, that's right. You have an opinion on the striker. So Kyogo was supposed to be our potential replacement for Julian Alvarez. Would have been all fine and good, but didn't seem to work out that way. Apparently, he's on injury for like 4 months. So he really wouldn't have been any good to us coming in anyways. But Mulv had a good take on who we should bring in as a striker. So I'm going to give Mulv the floor.
Oh, so my take is that we don't bring in anybody for striker. Yeah. So like I said at the top of the show, I really do feel like the team is complete.
Yes.
We're at just the right amount of players where it's Pep is still going to feel like he's got a relatively small squad. I'm a big proponent of not leaving players out of the match day squad because I think that's where disharmony starts. When you're not even involved at all, you're not even dressing to play. Mm-hmm. That's a bit of a mind fuck. So, I mean, even did you see Trent Alexander-Arnold today? I mean, he played, got substituted, and had a strop on the bench, and the manager had to come over and talk to him, and he just sat there like, I got subbed, you know. So can you imagine like not even making the match day squad? Anyway, I think that breeds disharmony. So he's got just the right amount of numbers, and I feel like we're very heavy in that number 8, sort of 8-10 role, right? That central sort of creative player, you know, with the addition of Gundogan, you got Foden, KDB, Bernardo, Kovacic, Oscar Bob can play in there. Nunez can play in there.
Grealish can play there.
Yeah, it's a bit congested in there. So my question is, if you bring in another striker, are they going to... and Haaland is out. you telling me that they're gonna play instead of like one of those names that hasn't been playing in an 8?
Right.
Like, I don't like a Gundogan who can play a great false 9. Or I didn't even add McAtee into that list, but do you know what I mean? Like, I see Haaland being, if Haaland is out for whatever reason, I see that as an opportunity to get minutes for one of those central 8s or 10s to play. Otherwise, I mean, I can't see Bernardo Silva looking at, what's the guy's name from Celtic? Oh, this guy's gonna play,
right?
Yeah.
when Erling's out? No way. There's no way. So, for me, don't bring in a striker. You've got more than enough options to play centrally when Haaland's out, and for morale reasons, I think those minutes have to go to an existing central attacking player. Oscar Bob. I forgot Oscar Bob. So for me, don't bring in a striker. No. We're all right. We'll stay. We're good.
One little thing that I want everybody to take note of, and I hope you guys saw us, Joe, you as well. When we were in Columbus, and also it happened a little bit in Chapel Hill, which was, that was the first game of the preseason. Pep working Jack in centrally and kind of having him fill in that role a little bit, I thought it worked out pretty well in preseason. I wouldn't mind seeing him be used, not quite like Julian was. I mean, that's asking a lot, and that really goes outside of Jack's skill set. But the fact that he's able to work in centrally a lot better than he is going down to the byline, I don't see why you wouldn't use him as that potential suitor, maybe playing more of a false 9 role. You know what I mean? Just a thought.
We got options we have options to
galore.
Cover that space.
Options galore.
I mean, Phil has done it too. We have plenty of guys that can fill in a pinch if Haaland has to miss 3 or 4 games in a stretch or anything like that. And the guys are also damn smart that we talked about with Rico. They understand how Pep wants to play. Let's roll with what we got and the guys in the locker room, and let's go to work, man.
For sure.
We've won the league playing that way.
Exactly. So they know. And most of those guys were here when that happened, so that this isn't new.
They all remember how that transpired. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
All right, so last little bit before we kick him out of here. Big news is coming on Tuesday. Mulv, do you want to release it? Joe, do you want to release it? I mean, I can do it, but I think the excitement actually would really come from Mulv. So,
well, yeah. I mean, you must be living in a cave if you haven't seen all the news that's coming out as we speak about a very likely Oasis reunion. I think the news is supposed to break on Tuesday morning. I mean, this is my favorite band ever. For somebody who moved to the US as a kid and for long spells was looking for ways to reconnect with like my family, my origins back in Manchester. I was in college when Oasis sort of blew up, and I liked the music first of all. And then I was looking in the notes. You know how you used to get CDs and you'd read the liner notes and all that. I was like, oh wait, these are from Manchester. These are City fans, right? I was like, that's it. I mean, the music's good. They look great. They're from Manchester. The City fans. I'm in. And I was actually an Oasis obsessive. Like I used to irritate people, like particularly my family, around the dinner table. Like I would say, hey, did you hear what Noel said today? Because I think like the two of them are hilarious.
Oh,
absolutely hilarious in their own ways, right?
Right.
And I mean I was constantly telling anyone who would listen something funny that Liam said or Noel said, and all right, Mulvey, all right. So I was obsessed with them, mate, and to see that they might be getting it back together. You never know with them, This might be
don't.
This might be like, oh, that 4th shirt is coming out. You know what I mean? It might be something as big of a letdown as that, but no, I mean, I was just checking it, and they've all posting it. Noel, Liam, the Oasis main account is all posting. Something's happening. A lot of people who seem to be in the know are saying this is it. So finally, please, That would be great.
Yeah, for sure. And, they teased us when we won the treble, like it was coming back. But I feel very confident having watched Liam's X account all day long,
yeah,
and him deny it to all end. Yeah, dude, like it's definitely happening. So yeah, I'm not gonna say definitely happened. It looked very likely it's going to happen, and I'm really hoping it does.
It's
true. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, and the last little bit too. I don't know if you guys have seen this. I don't know if you guys are you a Ted Lasso fan, Mulv?
I was. Yeah. I mean, I thought it was over, but apparently not.
Apparently it isn't. Apparently there has been a deal for a 4th season. They have worked out some stuff with the agencies for this to happen. So please make this happen. That would be great to have that cast back. I really try to push that show onto a lot of like the soccer parents that haven't seen it or don't really know the culture or like club play or anything like that. I really feel like it's a good introductory for somebody who doesn't know the game very well. You get to be a dumb American with them for a little bit, specifically Ted, and then you get to learn a little bit, and then you decide you want to read the Triangle book. Right?
No. The pyramid book, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Inverting the Pyramid.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was a big fan of the show. It came out at a perfect time. It came out during the pandemic, as I remember it, and it was just a feel good show that football fan or not was great. It was great for the mental state. Yeah, I mean, I thought the 3rd season was a small letdown, but I did think they sort of wrapped it up pretty well. The only like plot line that I thought they might be able to go to after the 3rd season was if a lot of those characters moved to America. Like, what if? What's the Hannah Waddingham's character name? Rebecca.
Yep.
Yeah.
What if she took over like the Royals or like the Chiefs or something like that? And then it was sort of like a role reversal. Right,
like welcome to our culture.
Something would be something like that. I thought was an option for them, because I'm not sure what else they can do in England. Right.
The only one that I've seen a gripe about is Major Trophy. Somebody said to me today, "Well, we haven't won a trophy. We haven't get to see them win a trophy." Correct, we haven't, but they did win the championship to come back to the Premier League. So technically they did, but no, you haven't seen them in a Euro competition. That's a potential, especially with the way they were looking at the end of the 3rd season. They were in the top 4. So, I mean, there's that. I honestly thought that they could possibly do Roy being the coach and letting Ted go back to America and completely cutting him out and kind of going a little bit of a different way. But if they're bringing back the whole cast, I mean, I kind of like what you're going with.
It's a way to pick up a lot of new content, right? Have English people react to American culture, whereas it was an American reacting to English culture, right? So, this guy. Yeah, I mean, if Rebecca took over FC Dallas, maybe we could get some good players in here.
Is it a fierce rivalry with Austin there?
I mean, it's MLS, mate. I'm the wrong guy to ask. I'm the wrong guy. I'm the wrong guy.
I figured maybe there was an in there because I believe your son plays for the academy.
He did. He played for FC Dallas before he went to college. Yeah.
Was he in the next program? Was that what that was all about?
He was in ECNL.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Right on. Dude, I'll tell you a real quick funny story before we kick you out of here. So when we were in Green Bay and we got rained out and shoved into the corridors, that was when we met Liz and Chris, like I said earlier. Their son was there with them. And I was, Joe knows, I was pretty well off that day. I looked over and I swore to God he was your kid.
My kid?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Was it
resemblance, maybe?
Oh, so they've got 2 sons, Heath and Noel, I believe. So, I think Noel's the older one.
Yeah.
He told me he would try to name the younger one Liam, but Liz wasn't having it. So.
No.
he got his Noel, and we've got Heath, who's also brilliant. No, I've hung out with all of them. They're fantastic. What a family they are, and
for sure.
The sort of the selfless commitment to Man City is just unbelievable.
It really is. I wish that passion could be shared with a lot more people that don't really know the game or the club. And I mean, that's our biggest thing, is that we really want to invite Americans specifically into this, because it's not what it's been painted to be. You know, for most of us, it is, you know, you can read in our bio. I mean, it was, for a lot of us, it's language to the fringes of American culture. You know what I mean? So it's never prevalent, and I'm really liking all the, you know, between NBC and Peacock and Paramount and USA and whatever, them putting out more games. Because I mean, growing up, you were lucky to catch the 7 a.m. match, right? And then you might get the later match, but that was really it, unless you had some sort of service to look for it.
Yeah. Now I have a big dark period in my City fandom where I had no access to City games. So I moved to America in 1985, right? And you were lucky if on the back of the newspaper you got like the league table. That
exactly.
was it. My dad used to listen to the matches on, I think it was BBC Radio Worldwide, something like that. That was kind of boring to me, you know, just listening to it wasn't super exciting. Right. So outside of going back on occasion, which we did when we first moved here, but went for long stretches not going back, that's when I really got into American sports. So I have this sort of autistic like memories of American sports for like maybe 2 decades. Right. I can rattle off all sorts of stuff, and then it dies when basically Fox Soccer emerges and the Premier League is back, right? And then I sort of let all the American sports go, and I'm 100% Premier League now all the time. So yeah.
Same for me, really. Like I Joe can echo to this too, because we've had this conversation 100 times. When 2020 came around and we went into the bubble and everything was just kind of like weird, American sports really did lose its luster. It wasn't. It just wasn't the same.
I think people are finding that, like, people are really warming up to football, to the Premier League in particular, and falling out of love with American sports. I find it really interesting.
Yeah. Well, and it's also coming at a perfect time because the media is going to be pushing the World Cup and Club World Cup, especially over here soon. Yeah. I think that it's on the up and up. I really... I wish ESPN would latch on just a little bit harder to the mainstream content that they do, because you don't really see a lot of the highlights of... I mean, if you do, you get a La Liga highlight, a Bundesliga highlight, a Premier League highlight. You know, once they start making it more a part of the mainstream, people will bite on, especially in our age ranges. For the younger crowd, it's caught on like wildfire, and from what I see. Every time I talk to my kid about school and friends, he'll tell me about, he was having conversations with a kid he didn't knew about football, and he's talking to him about this, that, and the other, and it's just like, it's kind of eye-opening to see the younger crowd is the ones that's going to carry it on.
So my wife teaches young kids. She's a special ed teacher, and she has a what she calls a city box at school. So you all remember prize box, right?
Sure.
When you're a kid. If you had a good day, you get to go into the prize box. So she has a city box. And the kids absolutely go mad for it. So if the kids have had a good day, she's got a box that's got all kinds of City stuff in it. Stickers, old T-shirts, just stuff that, you know, as a City family, you collect over the years, you know?
Yeah.
And they love diving into the box at the end of the day and grabbing something out. And they're just obsessed with, like, especially Haaland. Absolutely obsessed with him. So, yeah, it's amazing. The kids especially, and you saw it when this summer. I mean, there was, I think I counted 5 kids on my flight from Columbus back to Dallas wearing Haaland kits.
Really? That's
unbelievable.
Seeing that they're going to your destinations and stuff like that. Like that's really awesome. You really don't know who's a fan of what until you find yourself in a bar or whatever. Like for me personally, I live an hour and a half northwest of DC, basically the sticks. Nobody watches football here. I watch American football, but we have a British pub, right? You'd think that there would be. I think it's not. It's weird. It's so weird. But anyways, Mulv, I'm gonna give you the floor. Plug yourself. Plug the noisy neighbors. Do whatever you want to do, and then we'll say bon voyage.
First of all, thank you both for having me on.
Absolutely.
It was an absolute pleasure. It was great to meet you this summer.
Pleasure having you.
Yeah.
And meeting you finally.
Yeah. No, so I'm off Noisy Pod, Noisy Neighbors podcast. We're on all the podcast apps. Back for season 9 and hopefully 5 in a row.
Hopefully 5 in a row. I can't believe you guys have been here for almost a decade.
Yeah, we may when Pep leaves, we may stop. We'll see. Proper glory hunters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd rather just keep you here. Let's just keep you here. It would feel unnatural to have you guys not be a part of the scene anymore.
Yeah, but it would be
honestly.
a clean break. The Guardiola area.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember the Guardiola era? Oh, you mean Noisy Neighbors? Yeah.
Right. You got to pass the torch, though, if you do.
Oh, 100%.
You got to pass the torch to somebody.
Nah, I don't think we're going to stop, lads, but...
I didn't think so. Yeah. The comments are not blowing up yet. I'm waiting.
No, I mean, I said on our show, like, a little bit the Guardiola era we take for granted. There's certain things that, as you review performances that you just don't talk about. Can you imagine, I don't know, having the ups and downs of some of the other Premier League sides and like, I don't know if you guys experience it, but because we tend to win a lot, you find yourself saying the same thing week after week. And opposition fans will hate me saying this. Oh yeah, I'm sure it really fucking sucks to win all the time. You know what I mean?
But really though, go ahead. Sorry.
But do you agree? Like, I mean, how much can you say about Kevin De Bruyne? I mean, you're gonna call him the best player you've ever seen every week? I mean, it just gets
right. Just put a crown on his head every time you see a picture of just a little crown emoji and move on.
But I am excited about the potential of getting relegated. That'll be fun to talk about.
115.
Yep. What does life after Pep look like? So there's plenty of content to be had out there in the future. So, excited.
Well, we're excited to have you here. You guys are, we looked up to you guys for a very long time. Still do think that you guys are doing the best around here. Obviously, you're the number one in America. We're going to champion that on until you guys kick the bucket.
It's very, very kind of you lads, for you both, for all your support and listening to us idiots. I really appreciate it.
You guys are a bunch of fucking morons.
100%. 100%.
All right, Mulv, go on your date. It was great having you, lad. We'll do this again. Maybe next time we'll bring the other half on.
Do it. All right. He's a riot.
Yeah, he is. He's something else, isn't he?
Thank you both.
Thank you, man.
See you next time, fellas. Bye.
See ya. All right. So, Joe, we had Mulv on.
We did, man. That was great.
Holy shit.
That was a great time.
We had Mulv on. He's still here, though. I see him.
He's off the screen, but just close the window.
Yeah, just close the window out. Peace.
Okay, now he's gone.
No, he's here. Oh, now Joey's saying please. Oh, Joey said please. Joey, can you be a good boy?
Oh my God.
No, I'm just kidding.
Jesus Christ.
I'm just kidding, dog. No, let's why don't you personally hit us up and say hello first and foremost, and then we'll talk from there. How about that? Anyways, we want to thank everybody that has stepped in tonight. We had almost 50 Know that it's late night. It's a Sunday. A lot of people can't get in. But nonetheless, you could have been anywhere else in the world. You're here with us. We appreciate it. Keep continuing to hang out with us and grow with us. Please share our content, for Christ's sake. Just share it. It's not that hard. Click a button. It's not that big a deal. Before we go to, can I be on too? We still have to verify that you're not a fake account. I'm just kidding. We got all the verification we needed at Columbus when you didn't say hi to us, the both of you jerks. No, for real. Joey, hit us up. If she happens to be in the same room, cool. If not, we'll figure something out. But anyways, you could have been anywhere in the world. You're here with us. Thank you for that. Still doing 50% off. You see that QR code over there down in the corner? That's our store. Make sure you check it out. Make sure you use the Snobby AF code when you check out for that 15%. And that goes until September 1st, y'all. We are going back after this. As we said, this is the end of our illustrious guest summer. We are going to go back to regular programming here for a little while. So we look forward to seeing you next week. Same time, same channel. All right. Until then, what should we leave him with, buddy? I'm going to let you pick it this time because you can do it. You can pick it. Joe's going to pick. Also,
I don't see. All I see are the sound effects. I don't see the rest of the music.
You know why?
Why is that?
If you hit edit, there might be some in there.
There it is. There they go.
Longest outro of my life. Christ on a cracker. No, not that one. Wrong one. We're just going to leave it on the screen. There we go. We got one.
Where'd it go? There we go. I just had to add him in here. Oh.